Hi everyone, and welcome to something that's not quite the midweek memo this week. We're actually going to be interviewing our new Associate Minister for Children, Youth and Families, Reverend Elliot Swattridge.
Not so reverend.
How are you doing, Elliot? It's great to have you.
Oh, yeah, very excited to be here. I've been here just over a week now.
Excellent.
And it's been really, really good so far, yeah.
Yeah. And you moved to Croydon a few weeks before you started officially with us.
Yes.
And what are your first impressions of Croydon?
Oh, really, really good. We've always loved the idea of the London area. We love the diversity, much more diverse than Hereford. I'm still sort of it's probably a bit of like a childish sort of mesmerization with the big buildings in the centre and all the lights and all the new buildings. And I'm like, yes, and loads of people and yes, so good stuff so far.
the big buildings of Croydon. Have you been into central London yet and seen the big buildings of central London?
Yeah, well, they're great too,
okay,
yes.
Yeah. Did you like the Croydon ones better? Okay. Cool.
Well, there's more money. Yeah, it's quite impressive. It's impressive.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, your official title, Associate Minister for Children's, Youth and Families, epically long. We should work to shorten our titles for our people that work for us a little bit.
Yes.
But can you just take us through it? Can you tell us a bit more about your role and how you see that working around our children's and youth ministry?
Yes, so basically it's a new role that takes in some of the things that were taken on by Sheridan as children's coordinator and the youth coordinator role in the past. It sort of encompasses some of those and it's meant to be almost like an umbrella and trying to look at the whole thing and a bigger picture of it all and look at what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses in that area, how can we build on our strengths, where is God leading us next, what are new areas we could go into. I'm particularly interested in how we can connect with schools better, how we can connect with people we don't already have connections with, as well as building up the young people and children here as they go through the whole groups and trying to see where their giftings are and everything like that. And basically, at the moment, I see it as quite a blank page, really, listening to what everyone says and trying to work out together where God is leading us next.
Excellent.
Without coming into with too much of a pre-thought agenda.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. I love
Yes.
it. Yeah. So I suppose as you're looking after the youth in particular, I'm sure they'd like to know, what do you prefer, TikTok or Snapchat?
Oh, well, yeah, TikTok, definitely. Yeah.
Excellent. Are we going to see you in some TikTok dances
I'm hoping to do, I've done a bit of TikTok before.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to explore it.
Watch this space, guys.
If you've got any ideas, please tell me.
Yeah.
I think I need some help.
Nice one. Excellent. We're looking forward to that. So tell me, you've got an amazing testimony, and I've heard it already, but we'd love to hear it. So maybe could you tell us how you became a Christian?
Yes, so come from a family who aren't Christians themselves, and went to a like a little CV primary school. And I would say the reason I mention this is because it's part of my Heart for Schools ministry. They sort of the idea that God was a reality came to me from that. And then in secondary school, the secondary school is much more secular. And in year 7, we got given one of these little Gideon's red Bibles. They gave them out to every student. I think lots of them are still being put in the bin and lots of them probably just went in a drawer and didn't get used. But by some miracle, and I think by the stuff that God had already done in the primary school settings, so those foundations that were laid there, I ended up starting to read it. And I had this crazy idea in my mind that basically, if you read the Bible, you get eternal life. So that was just my idea. And so I was like, I need to read the Bible because I want eternal life. And then I read it more and I was like, oh no, that's not really what's going on here. I didn't understand much of it at all, but I saw something about baptism. It talked about baptism a lot. And so I was like, I haven't been baptized. And so I better go and get baptized. And so the first time I went to church on a Sunday properly was the day I got baptized when I was 16. And then from there, people started telling me more about I started joining a Christian union at school, started actually meeting other Christians, and they started telling me about the amazing idea that God accepts us just as we are rather than having to work to be perfect first, which is what I thought at that time. And it was so freeing and so amazing on all the idea of God's love, and it really just completely changed me when I was 16, 17, 18. And then I went to study theology. I was almost going to do medicine, but ended up being more interested in theology. And then from there was where I got interested in mission outreach, things like that, because I was only really interested in academic stuff. And then going to Cliff College, which was really into the whole mission side of things, I started to see, I actually want to spread this message. And I was really not confident, but God has been gradually building my confidence over the years.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and I was going to ask you actually that because the next stage you actually got ordained. You wanted to.
Oh,
be,
yeah,
you're not
yes.
just Mr. Elliot Swattridge. You are Reverend Elliot Swattridge. So take us through what made you want to do that step. What made you want to
that's a good question.
become a vicar?
So first, that I really wasn't interested in the idea of it when I first finished theology, but it was actually through my wife Naomi from Ireland and her family, which so her dad's a minister in Ireland. They suggested it to me, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm not really into the Church of England, you know. I'll have to probably subscribe to some beliefs. It'll be really hypocritical. I don't know. There's things like that. But then they suggested it to me, and some other people sort of talked about it, and I started thinking, oh, maybe this is the right thing to go down. Why Anglican? It just happened to be because that was the first church I went to, and it was the one I was into. It wasn't because I had felt deeply Anglican at heart, although don't tell the black people that. But I had, but anyway, it was they suggested it first, and then I felt like, oh, I was starting to get really drawn to the idea of preaching in particular, the idea of worship, the idea of evangelism really resonated with me. How do we spread the gospel? And it felt like, oh, maybe God is drawing me into this. And then it gradually became something that I felt called to myself. And eventually I was like, oh, I think this is the right path. And by that time I was like, oh, I desperately want to do this now. So it sort of changed, but it was initially suggested to me by other people.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how people's suggestions can actually become reality. Isn't
yes,
it?
Transform.
Yeah, I was kind of the same. Never thought I'd work full time as a worship coordinator. Yeah. Always something I did voluntarily, and somebody just suggested it to me and said, "Why don't you go for this job at Emmanuel?" And here I am.
Oh, so, that's great.
Going back to the vicar thing, I have a vicar joke for you.
Oh.
What do you call a vicar on a motorbike?
Reverend Wheels?
No, just Rev.
Oh, okay. I should have got that one.
Yeah, that's you can have that one for free from me. Actually, it was from Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Our production coordinator, he made up that joke.
Sam's got all the good jokes.
Yeah, he's got all the good jokes.
I've heard.
So, you're married to Naomi?
Yes.
And how long have you guys been married?
So just over 5 years. It was 23rd of June 2016. Just after I got the BAP thing, which is just after I got the okay to go forward for the vicar training. So it was basically going to be that, or I don't even know. So it was a very tense time. Yes, but just over 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, amazing! That's really cool. And you have a dog?
Oh yeah, we talk about our dog a lot. He's basically like our baby, really. Wesley the dog, named after the preacher.
Okay.
Either Charles or John Wesley, you can decide which. I don't know which one. I think it could be Charles, really, because I think he's a good singer.
Yep.
He likes to bark a lot. He's also very, very friendly. He loves to be everyone's friend. He challenges my sort of wanting to be friends with people who you don't know. He's like, I want to be friends with everyone. He's great at friendship evangelism.
Oh, amazing. So, yeah, we can take a lot from our dogs. And when is he going to come into the office so we can meet him?
Well, yes. Working on that one.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm gonna slightly shoot from the hip here. I'm gonna ask a question that would seem obvious to many, but so what is the point in children's and youth ministry?
That's great question. From my perspective, I find the idea of being in a relationship with Jesus the absolute most wonderful reality in my life. Hands down, nothing else even compares to it. It's like the most, there's times in prayer, times in worship, you're like, wow, this is so much better than anything else I've ever known. And my longing is effectively that young people would come to know that too for themselves at whatever age they are, because Jesus clearly has this thing that he says, let little children come to me. Those who are greatest in the kingdom of heaven are like little children. So he clearly wants people of all ages to come to know him in that deep way. It's not just for adults. And so I long that children would be able to have their whole lives transformed by Jesus and their relationship with him become the most wonderful thing in their lives. And that to bring them through all of the turbulent times of their childhood and teenage years, something that I found so difficult in lots of ways, but and I just love them to know that and then know Jesus the rest of their life. And what really moves me to it is because so many young people at such a formative age and so many of them are still deciding about what they believe. And so in lots of ways, it is our greatest sort of, you could say, mission field, if you want to put it that way. But it's like the place where there's so many things can happen, so many things can change. And because I really just want to spread the gospel as many people as possible, it feels like these people are so, it's such a key time for that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that just goes to show that you're the right guy for the job, and I'm so glad you're here. But and that's brilliant. But can you just tell me what do you think is the most important thing about knowing Jesus? Like, if you had a young person in front of you, what would you want to say to them about what is the most important thing about knowing Jesus?
Oh, that's a great question. What I'd say, probably where I would start is the idea of God's love, really. God is love, that's clear. This is the essential characteristic of God is love. It's the attribute that's above all the others in so many ways. And so I'd want to communicate something like, the biggest thing you can know about Jesus is that he loves you, and that idea of love is that he wants a relationship with you. It's the idea, love that wants a relationship, and a positive relationship, not like an angry or a manipulative relationship, but an actual positive, wonderful relationship with love. And I think the greatest longing amongst everyone of all ages, but particularly young people, is that longing for love, that longing to be loved, that longing to express love from the heart. And I would say that is the greatest thing that Jesus had, the greatest commandment, love the Lord your God, the greatest commandment, the greatest thing he offers us, his love. And I think I would say, yeah, he wants to love you, and he wants to be loved by you. And I think that's where everything else flows from, really.
Oh, that's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Thank you. Now, before we let you go, we've got some quick fire questions, which I hadn't let you know about in advance. I want you to, don't think about it. I want you to say the first thing that comes into your head, okay? Favorite pizza topping?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, okay. This slightly personal one for me. Does pineapple belong on a pizza?
On half of it.
Oh, okay.
On half of a pizza.
Well, then we can be half friends, because I disagree.
I've always been diplomatic.
Pineapple for me does not belong on a pizza. Your favourite sport to watch or take part in?
Oh, I think it would be, I think I quite like it's like playing football. I don't really watch it, but playing it's good. I'm not very good at it. But
don't have to be. Good. Mountains or sea?
Oh, I would say mountains in the sea.
Oh, okay.
Mountains next to the sea with sea views.
Okay, wow, okay. Favourite season?
Oh, I think autumn. I just love the way the trees change colour. It's amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And this is the one you definitely don't want to think too hard about. What is your favourite song right now?
I really like the song Breathe, I'm desperate for you, I'm lost without you. I love that song. It's so powerful, but I could say so many on that. But yeah, that's one of my favourites.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for answering our questions.
Yeah.
And why don't you, if you have a question for Elliot, write them in the comments, either on YouTube or on Facebook or on the social media.
Send them to me.
Yeah. So send them on the comments, and Elliot is going to answer them on the comments.
I would love to answer questions. Please ask questions.
Yeah, that'd be great. And while we're here, guys, why don't you pray for Elliot and Naomi as they come into our church family? Come and say hi to them as you see them on a Sunday or any other day. And yeah, generally uphold these guys in our church family.
Yes, need all the prayers. Yes, huge sense of that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, mate.
It's been
great to talk to you.
Yeah.
And we'll do another one of these interviews sometime soon.